News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Chris Crock Show. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Well, today we got to hear stuff that we didn't even know about as far as the Laken Riley, what she went through, and the brutality that was done to her, and for the length of time. And as I was saying before, nobody wanted it, but we all knew. When a man goes after a woman like this illegal Venezuelan gang member, an accused killer, they usually want to rape them, and he did. According to prosecutors, he did. And according to prosecutors, for 18 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on whose version you hear in the news, Laken fought off him as he tried to rape her. And some of the things I thought about today are a nurse. You know, she was studying to be a nurse. And she was a godly young lady. And she was studying to heal people, to nurse them, and to help them in their time of difficulty and ailment. Even an illegal, like this man who's been charged. And instead of being able to help him with her, I saw her cross necklace she has, and it's not the traditional one. It's kind of along the line there on the, you know what I mean? It goes kind of sideways along with the brace, the chain around her neck, or whatever you want to call it, the brace. I don't know what you call it, the necklace. It's kind of interesting and different. And she would go on a run every morning at about 9 o'clock or so. And the timeline is just horrifying because she leaves. And at 9:03, she left her home for a morning run. And then 8 minutes later at 9:11 a.m., she called 911. And the 911 dispatcher called out, "Clark County 911, can anyone hear me?" But no voices could be heard. They played it, the 911 call in the courtroom today, and you just hear birds chirping and quiet sound towards the end of the call. So for 18 minutes, can you imagine your daughter? I mean, my daughter's 18. Can you imagine for 18 minutes your daughter fighting out a grown man who Kamala and Joe Biden and the Democrat Party let in, who seeks to rape your child while they go to school to become a nurse, and while they go on a run, they have the audacity to get up early and be an athletic person while they want to be a star nursing student? Her friends could not find her when she returned back from her normal run. Normally, they were looking around for her at 11:31 a.m., two of her roommates. They used the Find My Friends app. They found one of her AirPods, just one. They took a picture of where the AirPod was in the scene, and then they couldn't find her. They called the cops when they got back, and then the officer at 12:37 that morning, three hours later, UGA police officer Sergeant Kenneth Maxwell found her unconscious, not breathing, partially naked, covered in leaves. He noticed severe injuries to the side of her head. Prosecutors believe her body was moved after her death 50 feet from the main running trail in a wooded area. The officer's body cam footage was played in court today. The mother left the courtroom. Laken's mother left the courtroom while her stepfather, her father, and sister remained seated. The officer attempted CPR on her lifeless body. She had bloodstains. They found a rock and bloodstains and hair on a rock nearby. He tried to rape her, is what they're alleging. And for 15 to 18 minutes, she fought him off. A woman who sought to please God and to heal people through nursing was brutally raped and beaten with a freaking rock for not giving in to this man's demand. She fought and she was not assaulted. And I thought of my daughter. We all think of our daughters. Think of my wife. And I hear today, I'll play audio, this guy and his brother By the way, this guy also has been charged not only with felony murder, kidnapping, one count of aggravated assault with intent to rape, one count of aggravated battery, one count of hindering a 911 call, one count of tampering with evidence, and one count of being a peeping Tom, because guess what? Earlier that morning, he went to a grad student's dorm room and was peeping in there over and over again, then tried to break in, presumably to rape her at 7:30 in the morning. When she called 911, the cops came. This man only wanted to rape our women. And this man was led in by the Democrat Party. And this is the exact same thing happened with Jocelyn Nungare, only she was worse because she was 12. She didn't know enough to not go with these people. She was brutally raped for 2 hours, found like a mannequin with no pants on by two men. All of them are allegedly believed to be Trinidad, led in by Joe and Kamala to violate our women and our girls. Same thing happened to a mother of five, Rachel Morin in Virginia, and she was on a run. God forbid our women be healthy and happy and joyful. They can't live. The TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, their equivalent of the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigations, and our equivalent of the Texas Rangers, says now that Trinidad is in every single freaking city in Tennessee. Every one. They are in every city in our state. They are in Dallas-Fort Worth. They struck in North Dallas with a woman. Then they left a dead body on the man shot in the side of the head in Farmers Branch. They are in San Antonio. They are in El Paso. They are in Austin, and they are in Houston. This is so destructive what the Democrat Party has done to our women. I want to scream, and I know you do too. So I want to ask you, who do you blame for this? And how does this make you feel to hear this? Does it make you worry for your daughter and your wife here in DFW like it does me? If you think that your kid or your daughter or your wife is safe, they're not safe on the campus of UGA in a small college town in Georgia, which is not in Atlanta. They are not safe in a small town in rural Wisconsin where a Trinidad member brutalized two women and raped them, a woman and her daughter. They are not safe in Tennessee. They are not safe in Georgia with Laken Riley. They are not safe in Virginia with Rachel Morin. They are not safe in El Paso or in Houston with Jocelyn Nungare. They are not safe here. And they are not safe for everyone. We have had, I'm going to play you coming up next. You're going to hear a soundbite of TBI on Fox and Friends this morning. I want to give out that number, though, on my questions that I asked for you. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Who do you blame for this? How does this make you feel to hear this? And does it make you worry for your daughter and your wife here in DFW? I'm sorry to say, but it should. They go after our women. They go after our daughters, and they don't care about them. You're going to hear from the TBI talk about how first they come in and they do sex trafficking, and then they come in and they do drug trafficking, and then they come in and they seek to dislodge the gangs and the cartels in their presence to take them over and to run the show. That's what's happening throughout Tennessee. That's what's happening throughout Texas. That's what's happening in every state. They're in Chicago, documented by the FBI. They're in New York, as we know. We've known for 2-3 years. I mean, they're in every state of this country. There you are. Your daughter and your wife are not safe because Kamala, Joe, and the Democrat Party. By the way, the Democrat Party is trying to make these people. They let them in, and they're trying to make them all legals. You know that? They're saying Trump can't deport all these people. Well, how many of these? I'm going to quote my guy, my friend. Did I give out the number yet? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. My friend and longtime guest of this show who's been coming on for years, the retired captain for DPS. He was in charge of border operations, counterterrorism, and counterintelligence. Jason Jones, he's now a Newsmax border correspondent, and he said there's tens of thousands of Trinidad in this country because Kamala and Joe and the Democrat Party let in 700,000 illegals from Venezuela. There's tens of thousands of these vicious, horrifying gang members. Do you know they're trying to take out the Gulf cartel, the Gulf cartel in Colombia? They're literally in the process right now of ousting the Gulf cartel out of freaking Colombia. They are in 5 or 6 Latin American countries dominating. They are slaughtering people, robbing them, raping them in Peru. My dear friend Robert is there right now. I told you about my friend, the mechanic. And remember, he's the one who said, Chris, Trump is the only way. And he tells many Hispanic people, he's a mechanic, he's my mechanic, and he tells many of them why they should vote for Trump, and he got many to do it just by asking them questions. I'm like, dude, you're better than I am at my job. Anyways, they've ripped apart Venezuela, Peru. All right. When we're going to talk to Philip and Temple coming up next, we got 3 lines open. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. To hear the power and the devastation of Trinidad Agua in our area, in our state, and across the state of Tennessee, just listen to the head of the TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, on what they do, how they come in. It's a short, powerful piece that you must hear that I pulled today. That's coming up next, plus your call, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. It's Chris Crock on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3, 800-288-9227.
And in his hunt, he encountered 22-year-old Laken Riley on her morning jog. And when Laken Riley refused to be his rape victim, he bashed her skull in with a rock repeatedly. At 9:10 a.m. from her garment that she was wearing, as she is trucking along and she is clipping 7-minute miles. She's running, doing her thing, listening to music. Something happens. He does something to her to make her stop dead in her tracks. Her encounter with him was long. Her fight with him was fierce. And that is what the Garmin data shows. And once her heart stops at 9:28 a.m., there's no more movement from her garment. The evidence will show that Laken fought. She fought for her life. She fought for her dignity. And in that fight, she caused this defendant to leave forensic evidence behind. On his arm, scratches on his wrist, scratches on the back of his neck, scratches on his hands.
I'm going to get you the TBI one in a little bit. That's not in my repertoire for some reason. No big deal. I think you heard enough of it. They're everywhere. Philip and Temple, you've called in on this. Who do you blame for this invasion of violent Venezuelan terrorists, rapists all over our country? By the way, Jose Ibarra had been arrested, who's on trial for this in Laken Riley's death and attempted rape, had been arrested in New York City Police Department a year earlier when after he entered in. Joe and Kamala stamped him, said, come in and destroy our women, defile them, and kill them when they don't yield to your rape attempts. He was arrested by NYCPD a year after he entered in August 2023, charged with acting in a manner to injure a child less than 17, and a motor vehicle license violation. They wanted to let him go so he could finish the job that he wanted to ultimately do down in Georgia. It's disgusting. And this is why Trump's going to go into these sanctuary cities and get every one of these bleeps out of this country. Philip and Temple, you're on WBAP. Hello.
Hey, Chris. Excuse me. Those sound clips and audio clips and sound bites just kind of has taken me back.
Yes.
Good gravy. Well, clearly, I blame this current administration and the policies on the administration. 2000.
Say it again. You clipped out there for a second. Go ahead. You said you blame it on the administration.
Yeah. Well, the previous two Democrat administrations and the policies has led to this.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, well, you go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
Okay. No, that's fine. I mean, clearly the blame is on them, and what got me riled up and wanting to call was to say that there needs to be accountability for this, and exactly how this looks and what it's going to be. I don't know. I haven't thought through it clear enough, but it doesn't need to be swept under the rug, because the impact and the effect that it's had on our country and our people and citizens today, yesterday, and it's going to have for a long time in the future.
A week from now, a month from now, a year from now.
Right. We're going to be so overwhelmed with cleaning up and trying to get it back to where it was, making America great again, safe again. That still doesn't need to be forgotten or overseen who's caused it. And at the very least, it needs to be publicized so much of whose policies that did this that they don't hold office for the next 5 to 10 decades.
Well, unfortunately, I think it doesn't happen that way because people just, I don't know, but here's what I think that needs to be exposed. And here's the deal. I don't even blame it on the last administrations. I blame it on this one only because they opened up the gate to this unprecedented 16 million plus illegal invasion. And because of that, and they stamped them all come in, 700,000 Venezuelans. Many of them flown in because they right over our border, paid for by us and everything. And they literally made these rapists come in. They legitimized them to rape our children, our daughters, our wives, and kill them. And take over our gangs and make it an international gangland worse than we've ever seen before. And in every city, in many of our states, and if not all.
Good point. That made me think about all the appointed district attorneys that they got put in through the Soros, and as well as the replacement of all our judges. And that did happen also in Obama's administration and this one. So but
Obama didn't let in 16 million people plus 2 or 3 million gotaways.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and Obama deported 3.9 million in 4 years, or in his 8 years, I guess. But and they say, well, look, Trump deported about the same amount as Biden. Yeah, but Biden let in 16 to 18 million, and Trump didn't let in anywhere near any of that at all. In fact, Biden did more than 4 times what Trump had, I think, in a year per year. I got to roll, Phil, but thank you for your call, man, and I appreciate that you have been touched by it as much as I have. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Who do you blame for this disgusting 18-minute sexual assault attempt before Laken Riley's murder for refusing to comply with this Venezuelan illegal migrant, possibly a Trinidad Agua member? And how does this make you feel when you hear this? Does it make you worry for your daughter and your wife here in DFW? And unfortunately, it should. But I also want to get into this coming up next. Dallas officer. Remember that Dallas officer that said aim better in a social media post the day after Trump was almost killed, in that assassination attempt when he was shot in Pennsylvania? Yeah, guess what happened to that officer? Have you heard what happened to him? I will tell you what happened, and we know what the punishment is or was. You better listen to this because we're going to be talking about this big time coming up at 33 after the hour on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. In just a moment, I'm going to be playing for you. I'm going to be telling you about, the Dallas officer suspended and what happened, who said aim better after the Trump assassination attempt, who he is, what his rank is, and what has happened to him because of that. You do not want to miss this. But first, we have been talking about Laken Riley, and we find out today in the horrifying testimony and the prosecution of this illegal from Venezuela that Joe and Kamala said, come on in and have your way with our women, and we stamped his approval, let him in. He's believed to have come in at the port of entry in Texas, I believe the El Paso one. And so there are so many Trinidad Agua members that came through first Texas in our state, as you know. And that she was, we know she was jogging, but he is accused of grabbing her and attempting to sexually assault her, raping her. For 18 minutes, he tried to do it, and this beautiful sweetheart fought him off. And she wanted to be a nurse. She wanted to serve us and care for us, including him if he was ill. And this man instead said, I want to defile and destroy you and kill you. if you don't give me what I want, what you want. And by the way, what I want, and if you don't, after you give it to me, whether you're allowed or not, I'm going to kill you. And this beautiful sweetheart fought him off. And it makes me very happy to know that. None of us had any, I'm telling you right now as a dad, the first thing I think about is I know what they're doing, what they're trying to do to our daughters when they do that. And I'm not surprised. Nor was I surprised with sweet Jocelyn Nungaray to find out what happened to her. Takes time for those tests to go through to catch that. By the way, under Laken's nails was his skin. She ripped him apart as she fought off this SOB. John and Grapevine, you were calling, and I'm asking, who do you blame for this, and how does this make you feel to hear this? Does it make you worry for your daughter and your wife here in DFW? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227 on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. John and Grapevine, what's up, WBAP?
100% blame falls on Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas. I got up this morning and I turned on the television set, and at 8 o'clock or thereabouts, 8:01, 8:02, they switched over to the trial of this monster down in Athens, Georgia. Mm-hmm. My wife came in and says, "What are you watching?" And I said, "I'm watching that animal that killed that beautiful young woman down in Georgia." My wife says to me, I'm 82, she's 71. She says to me, we do not have any firearms in this house. It is time that we go and purchase firearms, that we get trained on those by a professional, and that we get licensed to carry. She said, you have finally convinced me that it is time to get armed and protect ourselves. And by God, we're going over this coming week. I'm going to find a gun shop. We're going to buy two firearms. I don't know what caliber yet, but I will guarantee you that we are going to get trained and we will be able to use those properly to defend ourselves. I appreciate you taking my call. I am so angry over what happened to that girl.
Me too.
I'm furious.
And
I'm furious.
My daughter is 18, and she goes to one of our community colleges in the Metroplex. He hung up now. I was going to talk to him a little bit and give him some advice. I'll give you advice in a second, and if you're listening. And I'm grateful that you're mad. And I think we all should be mad. And this could happen to any one of our daughters or our wives. So I do recommend this. I do recommend you doing what your wife says she wants to do now. The way I've been taught by my friend, who is a police officer for decades and former Marine who's got tons of guns. Every month he's like, don't tell my wife I have a new gun. He'd show it to me. And he took me and taught me to shoot. At that time, he was an Atlanta police officer. He's still there. My job brought me here, as you know, 15 years ago. But the first thing he did was he said, get trained. He said, go to the range, try it out. Get your license to carry, but also get trained before you buy it. He says, if you have it and you're not trained, you are quite likely they're going to use it against you. So you want to be able to handle it. The best way to do this, by his teaching of me and by one of the best gun shops and ranges and everything I've been to in the Metroplex and anywhere, is go to the range, tell them what you're thinking about, and have them rent a couple of different firearms with your description, and go to the range, go in the range, shoot it, and see how you feel about different ones. I don't like Glocks at all because they bite me. The web of my thumb, it's called Glock bite. And so, but for me, it's like when I go bowling, I'm a wimp. I like the small, the least heavy ball, the lightest ball that my hands could fit in. It's like a kiddie ball. Hey, stop laughing at me. One of my colleagues is laughing at me. He's pointing and laughing at me. Everybody's laughing at me. Like the movie Carrie. So I have 9mm, and that 9mm is fine. And You'll find that the ones that are not compact, subcompact or compact for concealed carry are shoot smoother. The compacts don't shoot smoother because the barrel's shorter. But I have one that has 12 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber, so it's 13, and that makes me feel comfortable enough. And but so I took a license to carry. You don't have to anymore, but I do, and I strongly recommend you do that. Plus, when you go traveling, you have reciprocity in most states around us. So when I go to the beautiful state of New Mexico or Colorado, I can carry legally. Same thing with going up to Illinois, commie Illinois, until I hit the Illinois border. Whether I go up through Oklahoma and Missouri or the other way through Arkansas and Tennessee, I have reciprocity. It's a beautiful thing. And then when you go to a communist state, then of Illinois, you break down your weapon and put it in a little gun safe in the back of your car, because communists will order their police to throw you in jail for protecting yourself. But I would do that. You go to a range, you get the recommendation of what you would want to practice on to see you, and you go, "Oh, this one sucks. Oh, I don't like the way this hand. Oh, this is too." Your wife, you don't want your wife having a 40 if she drops it because she can't control it because it's too much for her. You know, she might want a revolver and a 9mm. Anyway. And people talk about hollow points. Look, there's no other kind of bullet I carry but the kind that'll rip through somebody if you shoot them. I mean, that's what it's there for. It's there to carry flesh and go through and rip a bigger hole on the other side it goes through. And that's the only thing these terrorists will understand. And I'm very happy we elected Donald J. Trump, who says that people like this that do this to us will get the death penalty. You take one of the lives of one of our officers or one of our Americans, we will kill you. We will kill you. The government will kill you. And that's what it should do. And that's it. We have like Mexico doesn't have we have some kind of a treaty with them where we honor their not having a death penalty. But Trump, I agree, they can kiss our butt. You send us a murderer, you let a murderer come over here, we're going to kill him. That's what I say. I know we have to do whatever, but I'm tired. All right. Thank you. And I'm grateful for your rage, and just be wise in your rage and do it wisely. Okay. Get trained before you have it. Get trained. All right. Next, the Dallas police officer who said that aim better next time so you can kill the president. He didn't say kill the president, but that's what he meant. He meant aim better, kill him. On the assassination tip. I'm going to give you this guy's name as many times as I can in a segment, and I'm going to tell you what is so you can know who he is. I would, when you call the police, I would specifically say, I would write this guy's name down in a little card and have it in your wallet. So when you call police 911 and non-emergency in the city of Dallas, I would say this guy, Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez. I want to, first of all, before I continue on my discussion, I want to make sure that our Sergeant Arturo Martinez will not be responding to me. I don't want this man responding to me because I fear that he will let me die. He will let me be exposed. He will hurt me. He will disregard me and want me to be hurt or be hurt worse than I am right now. Please don't send Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez to the scene of where I'm calling you about right now, because I'm a Trump supporter and I know he will probably want me dead like he wants President Trump dead. And I just would like to make sure I get justice here with what's been done to me, whatever it is, your car crash or, you know what I mean? Somebody robs your car stereo, somebody trespasses in your yard, there's some thug. Please don't send Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez to my house because he wants people like me dead. I'm wearing a Trump shirt. I'm wearing a MAGA hat. I have a Trump bump sticker on my car. I have a Trump sign in my front yard, and I know he hates us and he wants us dead. So I just want to make sure you don't send Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez. You'll find out what happened to him next, and I'll ask you if this is justice to you and what you'd like to see happen to this guy. Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez. Arturo Martinez wants to kill Donald Trump. Arturo Martinez wants Donald Trump dead. Arturo Martinez sent out a release on the social media to the world that you should hit the president in the head and kill him next time. That's Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez. Okay? Coming up next, we're going to talk about Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez wanting President Trump dead and what the adjudication of him saying that as a Dallas police officer paid for on our dime. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Spend a minute or two thinking about what you'd like to have happen to him. It's Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez, and you'll find out what did happen to him next. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez initially placed on administrative leave after he tweeted out aim better on the attempt at Butler, Pennsylvania to murder our president-elect. And so he's a disgusting man who needs serious mental health counseling and should not be a Dallas police officer, right? I mean, do you want this guy showing up to your house if you got a Trump sign on your lawn? He might shoot you, right? Do you want this guy pulling you over if you have a Trump sticker on your car? Or if you're wearing a MAGA hat or a MAGA T-shirt like because we're not in Venezuela? I think Arturo Martinez needs to go to Venezuela. He'd be perfect there. I think Arturo Martinez, the Dallas police sergeant, 14-year veteran, should go work for the Chinese police. He'd be good with Xi Jinping in a dictatorship. Kill the people you don't like that are running for office. Kill them. That's what Arturo Martinez supports. Well, guess what? He apparently was suspended for 30 days without pay. He's back on the job. So if you have to call 911 or if you have to call non-emergency and you need a cop to come over, to preface the entire call and say, I just want to make sure that Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez does not make this call because I support Trump and I don't want him to wish me dead or perhaps not give me equitable treatment. I know he wanted Trump to be killed. So I just want to make sure Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez doesn't get there. Okay. So he supervises. He's a supervisor. What do you supervise? Trying to kill the president-elect? Do you want this? My questions for you on this are, is this enough punishment? 1 month without pay suspension? Or should he be fired? And do you trust Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez to protect you if you have a Trump yard sign, bumper sticker, T-shirt, or hat on? Do you trust him to pull up on the scene? Do you want him showing up at your house to investigate a robbery? Do you feel that this man's going to treat you properly if there's any evidence of President Trump or adoration for him or not adoration, but you know what I mean, an admiration for him or voting for him? Do you think this sick man should be on our police force? Eddie Garcia, the former police chief when this happened, he was the chief at the time, said, if true, in fact, the comment has no place in our society, certainly no place in law enforcement. So what the heck? He has no place in law enforcement. This man should be stripped of his peace officer license. He shouldn't be a cop. He literally wants our president dead, our president-elect. And it doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump. So that's my question for you. Is this enough punishment or should he be fired? Do you trust him to protect you if you have a Trump yard sign, bumper sticker, shirt, or hat? Should this guy even be allowed to have a Texas peace officer license? 800 or any police officer license, peace officer license anywhere. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. It's amazing. So he has no place in law enforcement, no place in our society, and yet he's a police officer still. Headline is Dallas officer suspended for post on Trump assassination attempt. Placed on administrative leave after he wrote aim better in July after Donald Trump survived his assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. He was suspended for 30 days without pay. Dallas Police Department literally, so that's it. I don't see anything about being fired. That same week that he was suspended, 3 other Dallas police officers were fired for disciplinary hearing. Why wasn't he fired? Is this the value of the city of Dallas? Does the city of Dallas publicly support the murder of President-elect Trump? You know what I mean? Like you want him murdered? Is that the position of the Dallas Police Department? What the heck is this? Why are we even talking about this, right? I can't believe this. The supervisor of the police department's robbery unit. So does he think we got robbed by not having the president not being president-elect by not being murdered, or were we robbed? Is that part? Is he doing an investigation about that? The country was robbed because because President-elect Trump won. This is crazy. Oh, you're gonna love this. This is like the juiciest, best part. Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez was also the organizer of the Blue for Black Lives Matter. Hey, he's a Marxist socialist who hates police. Detective Arturo Martinez, Dallas Police Department, not detective, excuse me, Sergeant Arturo Martinez was the organizer of the Blue for Black Lives Matter demonstration, where several hundred officers and protesters marched together in solidarity to come worship a man who was so high on fentanyl that he died, St. George Fentanyl, a.k.a. St. George Floyd. Blessed be his name. I would like to work with Sergeant Arturo Martinez at Dallas Police to have a statue made for St. George Floyd, honoring him of being a convicted felon who put a gun to a pregnant lady's belly. He robbed her and, I'm going to kill the baby and you if you don't give me your money. That's St. George Floyd, blessed be his name, who had more fentanyl in his system when he died than the average junkie in Florida. In a study by Florida University, he had more fentanyl. He had 0.11 nanograms or nanograms per milliliter, and 0.9 is the average that kills junkies. He had 0.11. Okay, stand by. Joel in Cedar Hill wants to comment on this. Dallas Police Sergeant Arturo Martinez said that Trump should be killed. He said, aim better.